Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Alright guys, it's Tuesday, May 26th, and it is 10:06 p.m. Eastern Time. Now we're going to get into the news, and we're going to do that right away, but I do want to let you guys know, and thank you so much to you guys that let me know via the comments or emailing me that there was something up with the sound. I listened to it. Yeah, there was definitely something up with the sound. I do believe I've fixed it. I did a little trial run and listened to it. It sounded fine to me, but you guys let me know what you're hearing. If the sound is improved and it's good, let me know. If it's still not 100%, then let me know that as well. I do apologize for that. I found out that one of my settings, which I thought was locked, was changed. So that is what was happening. Anyway, we are going to jump into the news, and I do have people to thank, but I'm going to leave that to the end. Wonderful people to thank, and I've got lots of snail mail recently, which is so fun. I don't know what it is about it that's so fun, but seeing people's handwriting, and it just seems like, you know, in this day and age, you hardly ever get letters anymore, and it's kind of fun. Anyway, let's just jump in here. I've got a lot of stuff. Some of it's silly, some of it's serious. We've got a whole menagerie here. All right, let's start right here. Hope you guys are all doing well this evening. You're not going to believe this, but today was 100 degrees here. 100 degrees Fahrenheit here, and which is highly unusual for this time of year. Well, I'll tell you how unusual it is. It snowed 2 weeks ago, and today 100 degrees. People were out boating. I didn't see anybody swimming because the water is still really, really cold, but there was lots of people boating and walking, and I got a very nice surprise. Well, to me, it's a nice surprise. I was going downtown here in my little town. I had some banking and stuff to do, and I noticed some stores were open. Stores that, you know, have been closed through this whole thing. And I thought, well, gee, I wonder, you know, if stores are open other places. So I took a drive 20 minutes to a bigger city, and sure enough, several. Now, there was lots that wasn't open, but there was lots that was open, and I couldn't believe it because my favorite store was open. And I mean, they know me by name there because I go in. I don't always buy anything, but I just like to go in. But you know, I was standing in line waiting to get in, and apparently this event was for only preferred customers or whatever, if you had the card. And so I was allowed to go in, and I was like, I can't believe this. This is the best day ever. It's like my favorite store's open again. I can't believe this. And I was in line saying this, and the women were laughing. They said, oh my gosh, we know exactly how you feel. It's just been too long. We're going into withdrawal. So I went in, but you know something? These couple months or more lockdown they've really changed the way I view material things. Now, I've never been much, I like things very nice. If you saw the way I have it decorated, it's very nice. But a lot of my furniture I have picked up and refinished myself. And so, but I mean, it's nice in here. And, but I'm just not, I mean, I know how to make a dollar hauler, is what I'm saying. But anyway, so I went in and I got so overwhelmed by the smells, the colors, everything, because all I've been doing is sitting at home for months now and not able to see my friends, not able to go out for coffee with someone or anything. And I had to leave, to tell you the truth. It was overwhelming. Now, I don't know if any of you have had that experience of not shopping for all that time and then all of a sudden going into a store that you love. It just, all the colors and textures and everything, it was overwhelming. And I stood there and I thought, is there anything that I even need? But you see, I never thought that way before. I always thought, well, I'm just going to go in and look around and enjoy. But it was like, I don't need anything in here. What am I doing in here? So, yeah, I don't know. It's different. It seems like things have changed. I'm not so quick to lay that $5 or $10 or $20 down for something that is not a necessity. I don't know. Have you guys found this? And yes, I will stop talking your hind leg off. But I just wondered, have any of you experienced this? Now, I can't wait until the hair shops and so forth open up to some degree, because my gosh, I do look like a woolly mammoth, and that's what happens to us curly-headed women. But it'll come. All right, so let's get into this. Now, I'm going to play this for you. Joe Biden was on The View. You've maybe already seen this, and you've probably already been agog over it, because I started listening to a few minutes of it and I shut it off. And then my friend Heather H from Houston, Triple H, she sent me some things today, and this was one of them. And I thought, well, I'll see it through and listen to it, although, it's kind of like nails on a chalkboard. But listen to this, and you tell me if this man is in any shape to be president. Now, I'm embarrassed. If I was part of his family or his wife, I would be so embarrassed for him. And this is abuse. I don't know why he's doing this. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's, well, of course, we know that his strings are being pulled by people unknown to us anyway. But his strings are being pulled, and I don't know if he's being made to do this or not. Probably, but it's embarrassing. So I want you to listen to this and tell me what you think.
Them without their permission. Are you sorry for what you did? Are you prepared to apologize to those women?
Look, here's the deal. I am so, like, for example, I actually thought in my head when I walked out here. I mean,
what?
Do I?
I know
we're friends.
It's tricky.
No, but I should be able to read better, but I have never in my life done anything in approaching a woman that has been, other than trying to bring some. I'm used to, like one of your staff was, I think it's really important we listen. Whether I sit down next to somebody and it's not.
Notice the expressions on their faces. They're not sure what to do, because he can't, he's talked and talked and talked, but he hasn't said anything. He hasn't said anything at all, except that, I thought, basically what he was saying there is, I thought this was going to be friendly. I should have been, be able to read better, meaning I should have been able to read the situation better. So he wasn't prepared. He thought he was coming for a very friendly chat, and he didn't think that they would ask him any hardball questions because they're so friendly. They're all Democrat. So, well, maybe not all of them, but a good number of them are. Joy definitely is. She is a Trump hater extraordinaire. But let's go on here and notice the expressions of everyone.
Not invited to sit down. So that's my responsibility. I have to be more aware, and it's totally legitimate.
What's totally legitimate?
Anyway, I think it's legitimate, and I think it is, and to anyone, but I don't think anyone's ever said.
But they have also said we'd like an apology.
Well, look, I'm really sorry if they.
Nancy Pelosi wants you to say, "I'm sorry that I invaded your space."
Sorry, I invaded your space. I mean, I'm sorry this happened. Yeah. But I'm not sorry in the sense that, look, I was. Anyway.
Well, here's your opportunity right now to just say you apologize, you're sorry. I think we can clean this up right now.
Well, by the way, I did. I understand.
Right. Yeah.
We haven't. There's so much more work to do to figure out how. The one important thing I know. Well, I tell you what the deal was. I did not. What I didn't want to do, and I didn't want to, quote, invade her space. I didn't want to get in a situation where this became, and then when I heard all this about and it was legitimate, expecting a call. Why every time the phone rang? And so I spoke to some leading women advocates in this area who someone knew.
So he spent, that was 2 minutes and 20 seconds. He spent 2 minutes and 20 seconds talking, and he did not say anything that is even comprehensible. It's not comprehensible. And it's obvious they took him by surprise by asking him that question. And the thing that he said that made the most sense is, I thought we were friends. I thought, he didn't think that they were going to ask him anything difficult. So he wasn't prepared, obviously. And he's not able to think on his feet or on his seat, as the case may be. But he's not able to do that because as you get older and you're struggling, with your mind and so forth. I noticed that with my mom. She was a teacher for her whole life, and a very, very good one. And she was sharp as a tack. Now, she's still pretty sharp, but I'll notice that I can't explain something fast to her because she'll get all flustered. I have to slow things down and say, okay, I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this. And, it's frustrating for me, but I love her. She's my mother, and I recognize, what? We all get old, and we're all getting old. The minute you're born, you're starting to die, unfortunately. But it's the truth. I mean, we all know our end. So I feel very sorry for him in this regard. I know there are people out there going, I don't feel sorry for him. Well, I do, because this is abuse. It's abuse. It really is. Not that they asked the question. They should ask the question. Everybody should ask that question of Joe Biden. We all want answers, but he's clearly not capable. So in my mind, I look at him and I think, okay, this is the front man, but this is not who's running for president. I can assure you. Now, either he will bow out at the last minute and they will bring in the real contender, or he will have a vice president, which they fully intend on making president. I don't know which it is. Now, of course, it's a moot point if Donald Trump wins, and of course that's what we're aiming for, because we know that Joe Biden is not capable of running the country, and I don't know anybody right now on the Democratic Party that is capable of running this country without us falling into communism. Yeah, I know that's a strong word, but that's where we're headed in terms of the Democrat Party anyway. So let's go back and follow more news. I'm sorry, I'm in a chatty mood tonight, but, well, it is what it is. At least the sound's fixed. There's that. Okay. All right, let's look at this. And okay, and this is from today, so it's hot and fresh. It's coming. Reporter Adam Housley on Spygate scandal names to watch, ... McMaster, Rosenstein, and John McCain. Well, John McCain is not going to be facing justice. He is, just not in this life. But there are many who believe that he already faced justice and his death was not a natural death. So I don't know about that. There's many people that have speculated. I think it's possible because there was that one screw up when they said he was killed on such and such. It was a mix-up that kind of made it seem like maybe his death wasn't exactly just natural or from cancer or what have you. So anyway, but McMaster and Rosenstein, those are two names we've been hearing a lot lately from Q. So let's come down here. Former Fox News reporter put up a series of tweets this weekend on the ongoing Obama Spygate scandal. According to Housley, the scandal involves corrupt officials from both parties, and he suggests that the case is moving swiftly and that these three men are in the crosshairs: H.R. McMaster, Rod Rosenstein, and deceased U.S. Senator and Trump hater John McCain. The corruption runs deep through both parties, and it ain't gonna look good when it's all said and done. It's not. And remember when Q said that if everyone was prosecuted, it was like a huge percentage of Washington would be indicted because there's that much corruption, and it's on both sides. You know, we like to think that it's all the Democrats. It's not. There are corrupt Republicans, very corrupt Republicans. It's just their type of corruption seems to be a different type than the Democrat. Yeah, but let's not get into that. Let's look at this tweet. The corruption runs deep and through both parties, and it ain't gonna look good when it's all said and done. And I can believe that. Adam Housley, it ain't about Republican and Democrat anymore. It really isn't. People were given the opportunity to do the right thing, and some chose wrong. It's about right versus wrong. And it is. It is. And that is just the tweet that we just read. And here is the next one. Names to watch: McMaster, Rosenstein, McCain. This crosses party lines, and you all need to be prepared. This isn't about being pro-Trump or anti-Trump. You all need to understand that, and you need to be willing to call it out, irrespective of party. I agree with that totally. Major issues within the FBI, an agency that I love, as you guys know, but major issues, sides being taken, and even amongst former agents, a lot of frustration, especially outside of headquarters. And here's the next tweet. Ray should have cut out the cancer and didn't. Well, that is true. He should have. So that is all there is to that. Quick and easy there, but interesting. So those names, you know, Q has mentioned, well, not McCain, because he's really not going to be facing, they're not going to indict a dead man, but I'm sure he already was indicted. I lean towards the fact that he was probably put to death for treason. I know that sounds way out there, not the treason part, because that's a fact, but you know, whether that's the truth or not, maybe we'll find out someday. Maybe we won't, but there you go. And let's come back here because there's so much news. Let's go to this. Okay, Gates Foundation buys stocks in Google, Twitter, Apple, and Amazon in first quarter before pushing pandemic panic porn. And that's exactly what it is. It's fear porn. That's what I call it. Pandemic panic porn works too. In fact, I like it better because it's a triple P. And I like that. I don't know why I said that, but I do like words that sound alike in a row. It's an English major thing, maybe. I don't know. Okay, back in March, Bill Gates told reporters that COVID-19 economic lockdowns needed to last 10 weeks and possibly 3 months. Because he knows. Yeah, he went to medical school. Oh, wait, no, he didn't. No, he didn't even graduate from college. So there's that. What is a guy that didn't graduate from college doing? Making vaccines and doing all this with, well, I'd call it eugenics. Not that, you know, I know there's very, very intelligent people that never went to school. In fact, some very, very successful people never went to college. Some didn't even finish high school. So not saying that, it's just that he really doesn't have any rights speaking to the medical community. He doesn't have any sort of training in that at all. Why do we listen to him? Because he's rich? That doesn't make any sense. In early April, it was revealed that the Gates Foundation was funding the Washington IHME junk models used by Dr. Tony Fauci and Dr. Deborah Birx. The models were completely inaccurate, but helped the experts spread the panic. That's exactly what happened. Bill Gates funded IHME coronavirus model, wrong again. 12,000 ICU beds projected for New York today, only 4,100 used. Dr. Birx decided to throw away several proposed models for the coronavirus outbreak and went all in on a single model funded by Bill Gates. As TGP reported Thursday, the IHME, Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation model for the coronavirus the White House is relying on is complete garbage. Now, that was inserted in there, so I don't even think that's part of what we're reading here. Let me see. Let's go to, yeah, here we are. Bill Gates later went on CNN to praise China's handling of the disease that had killed tens of thousands of people across the globe. On Monday, news broke that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Trust placed big bets on technology titans in the first quarter, according to a recent Securities and Exchange Commission filing. So while Bill Gates was out spreading the panic porn, his foundation was buying up tech stocks that did quite well during the economic lockdown. Yeah, all the stocks didn't go down during the lockdown at all. A lot of them did, but all of the biological stuff and some of the technology companies did very well, especially any of those companies that had anything to do with COVID or testing or developing a vaccine or what have you. So yeah, those stocks did amazingly well. And I know because I was invested in one. I didn't have a whole lot invested in it, but I had a feeling that it would do well, and it did. Which is good because everything else kind of took a nosedive. All right. So while Bill Gates was out spreading the panic porn, his foundation was buying up tech stock that did quite well during the economic lockdown. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Trust placed a big bets on technology titans in the first quarter, according to a recent Securities and Exchange Commission filing. The trust, which manages the assets of the world's largest private foundation, revealed new positions in Apple, Amazon, Google parent Alphabet, Alibaba, and Twitter. Oh, and the head of Alibaba, which is huge, has just resigned. So that's another huge resignation. Anyway, and Twitter, its stakes in the first four were valued between 100 million and 130 million each on March 31st, while its Twitter holdings were worth about 7 million. The trust also received $301 million stake in Schrödinger following the drug discovery software group's public debut in February. The only other change to its portfolio was a sale of 5 million Berkshire Hathaway shares, representing 10% of its stake in Warren Buffett's conglomerate. Isn't that interesting? They always seem to make money because they know what's coming. And that's how a lot of them get so rich. They know what's coming, so they invest that way. Just like the airline, the put options on the airlines right before 9/11. There were people that knew. There was a lot of insider trading that happened, and there were people that knew exactly what was going to go down. Unfortunately, we weren't one of those. Tragic day. Okay, so let's go back now. And let's look at this, shall we? Can you say hypocrite? I bet you can. Klobuchar bashes Trump over his use of the drug after same drug saved her husband's life. Say what? Yeah. I don't like the way this woman talks. Anyway, I'm not going to, if there's a video, I'm not listening to it. Senator Amy Klobuchar wants to be Joe Biden's running mate. Oh my gosh. So she'll say and do just about anything at this point. How else to explain why the Minnesota Democrat acknowledged that the drug helped her husband recover from COVID-19, but then went on to bash President Trump, who has said often that doctors believe the anti-malarial drug can be effective in fighting the virus. Trump last month called the drug, which is often used jointly with azithromycin, a game changer. Klobuchar apparently agreed, at least last month. Well, I think that I listened to the science there. I believe he did briefly take that drug or some drug like it, but I think that we have to listen to the science, and you have to listen to your doctors with what is going on to work in each individual situation, Klobuchar said on a talk show in April, according to the Washington Examiner. Yeah. She wouldn't even admit that her husband was on that drug. She says, well, yeah, a drug like it, or, could have been that drug. Oh my gosh, could you imagine those two in the White House? Seriously, Joe Biden and her? Yeah. Sometimes you might have other conditions that make it so you can't take certain drugs, she said. Sometimes your own condition with the virus won't demand. I think people have to look at what works. I believe in science, something this president has been not listening to. I think this president's been listening to science a heck of a lot more than anyone else. You think Fauci and Birx are listening to science? Give me a break. What's interesting is now Klobuchar is bashing Trump for endorsing the drug. They say that the drug can lead to hallucinations. The senator said on Twitter in response to a Trump tweet. She's a piece of work. It says, crazy Bernie Sanders is not a fighter. This is a tweet by Trump, President Trump. Crazy Bernie Sanders is not a fighter. He gives up too easy. The Dem establishment gets Alfred E. Newman, Mayor Pete, and Amy Klobuchar to quit and endorse Sleepy Joe before Super Tuesday, and gets Pocahontas to stay in the race, taking thousands of votes from Bernie. He would have ... And then she responds to that by saying, they say the drug can lead to hallucinations. So implying that, yeah, he's nuts. And it's, the drug's making him crazy. Others have also had positive effects using the drug, like actress Rita Wilson, wife of Tom Hanks, who both contracted COVID-19 while in Australia. Oh, did they now? On day 9, they gave me chloroquine, she said, on CBS. And I know people have been talking about this drug, but I can only tell you that I don't know if the drug worked or if it was just time for the fever to break, but my fever did break. Lost actor Daniel Day Kim also said the drug helped him, calling the drug the secret weapon to his stabilized health. An international poll of more than 6,000 doctors last month found that the drug was deemed the most highly rated treatment for the virus. Well, you don't say. The survey conducted by Sermo, a global healthcare polling company, asked 6,227 physicians in 30 countries to find out what they considered to be the most effective against SARS-CoV-2. The poll found that 37% of those treating patients suffering from CV that causes COVID-19 rated the drug as the most effective therapy out of a list of 15 choices. Azithromycin, known by the brand name Zithromax or Z-Pak, came in as the second most effective therapy at 32%, followed by nothing. Yeah. I mean, like 6,000 doctors, they're all wrong. I'm sure they know what's curing people and what isn't. So, yeah. Alrighty. Well, let's go back, shall we? Of course we shall. Why shouldn't we? We should. Okay. Let's look at this now. Another bit of ridiculousness. British shops plan to quarantine shoes and books touched by customers. okay? I understand the thought behind it, but who has the manpower to look for, when somebody's in a store, they could pick up dozens of things. What are you going to do? Have like a bigger back room than you have a front room because the stuff will all be in quarantine back there. Craziness. I'm not going to read this. You know why? Because why? That's my question, why? I did want to show you the headline, but, I'm not interested beyond that because it's all ridiculousness. It really is. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen because, I was absolutely shocked that there were some stores open here because it has been so strict in this area. But I'm glad that people are coming to their senses. But anyway, okay, let's look at this. I think you'll find this interesting too. If I was a betting woman, I'd bet that you would find this interesting. Okay, The Spectator. Now, do you remember, I don't even want to say it. I'm not going to say it because because this man reminds me of a crisis actor that I saw in one of the, happenings that happened, but was a FF. So, let's look at this. Coronavirus, the race to respond, plan to reopen the nation. CDC admits CV mortality ratio is similar to 1957 to 58 flu pandemic, where no lockdown was needed. Now, this is a few days old. This is from May 23rd, but it is certainly still viable. I know I've seen this man before. I know that I've seen this man before. And it was the FF that started with S and then an H. Yeah, it was in Connecticut. I think you'll be able to figure it out from there. All right, CDC admitted this week where the mortality ratio for the COVID-19 virus is similar to the mortality rate of the 1957-1958 flu pandemic. And this by Andrew Bostom, CDC 52120, concedes infection fatality ratio, or IFR, of COVID-19 is 0.27%, almost equal to 1957-58 pandemic. H2N2 flu in U.S. Was 0.26%, but no lockdowns in the 1957 to 58 flu pandemic. Isn't that interesting? I think it is, because they're saying that it's almost identical to that, of the mortality rate of that. So, yeah, and that was with no lockdowns whatsoever. Okay, and back down here it says, because U.S. did not lock down in 1957-58, as noted by great epidemiologist D.A. Henderson, the H2N2 pandemic did not appear to have a significant impact on the U.S. economy. Henderson also observed regarding the 1957-58 flu pandemic, measures were generally not taken to close schools or recommend wearing masks. Quarantine was obviously useless because of the large number of travelers and frequency of mild or inapparent cases. Now, obviously, I can't remember that because I wasn't born yet. I don't know. I should ask my mom about that. I'm sure she remembers. She was teaching school, so I'm sure that there was... No, was she? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she would have been. Okay. In 1957, 1958, caused 1 to 2 million deaths worldwide. That's a lot. 1 to 2 million deaths worldwide. And they didn't shut the whole world down. They didn't shut the airlines down. They didn't shut anything down. Kids still went to school. Trending, okay, we don't want to look at that. From 77,000 to 116,000 died in the United States. The U.S. population in 1957 was 177 million, or about half of the current population. Wow. That's amazing, isn't it, that it's doubled since then? Anyway, the seasonal flu this year killed an estimated 24,000 to 62,000 Americans. The World Health Organization estimates that 290,000 to 650,000 die from the flu each year across the globe. The economy was not destroyed for the flu. Yeah. See, things like that puts things into perspective, because you've got all these people everywhere you turn. There's panic about this. I mean, every grocery store you go into, at least here, there's dots on the floor telling you where to stand. There's, outside of the store, there's little markers, to perfectly distance you 6 feet. I mean, it's everywhere. Every TV commercial, every other one seems to be about COVID. Everything like magazines, newspaper, it's all about COVID. You would think that there was nothing else happening in the entire world. And really, we've never done this before for anything. So there's a lot more going on than just the virus. And I think we're all on the same page as far as that goes, I think. But maybe not. If you're not on the same page, let us know. You are more than entitled to your opinion, and I don't particularly want everybody to think like me. I learn from people who don't think like me. So don't be shy about putting it in the comments. And most of our people, I would say the vast majority of regular listeners, are very, very kind individuals that if they see somebody they don't agree with, they might try to correct or ask questions, but they don't bash them. So yeah, you're safe to disagree. All right, unless you get rude about it, and then, yeah, that's different, but okay. Now let's go back. Because I'm sure you want more, don't you? Of course you do. Why wouldn't you? Okay, let's look at this. It is interesting stuff. At least I think so. You're getting used to masks. Will you wear a face shield? Yeah, that is the thing. Up here in all the stores, they're wearing the face shields now. The attendants and so forth, the essential workers. I noticed when I went to HomeSense today, all the employees had those shields on. And because it's 100 degrees out and they were out there, you had to wait to go in until somebody came out. And, the two ladies that were standing outside, the mask was stuck to their head and it was just sweat dripping down. I was like, okay, not a chance I'm wearing that. Anyway, the clear plastic guard may be easier to wear, disinfect, and reuse than cloth or surgical face coverings, although they don't entirely replace the need for masks. The debate over whether Americans should wear face masks to control CV transmission has been settled. Governments and businesses now require, or at least recommend them in many public settings. But as parts of the country reopen, some doctors want you to consider another layer of personal protective equipment in your daily life. Clear plastic face shields. I wear a face shield every time I enter a store or other building, said Dr. Eli Perenovich. Sometimes I also wear a cloth mask if required by the store's policy. Now, it's summer. And, especially in the South where temperatures are, they just soar in the summertime. Do you really want to be wearing a plastic? I mean, the thing that goes around here, you could just see it was all red and they were just sweating. Not a chance would I wear that. And nobody wants to be wearing a mask in the summertime either. They are very hot and uncomfortable. I'm sorry, but if it had, 50% fatality rate, then I'd be more inclined to, but I don't know. there aren't even any cases in this whole surrounding area right now. So I don't know. I'm not going to do it. So anyway, Dr. Perinovich is an infectious disease physician at the University of Iowa and the Iowa City Veterans Affairs Healthcare System. In an opinion article published last month in JAMA, he and 2 colleagues argued that simple clear plastic face shields could help reduce the transmission of infections when added to public health measures like increased testing, contact tracing, and social distancing and hand hygiene. Yeah, face shield worn during a 1-hour walk in 13 mile per hour sustained winds with 35 mile per hour gusts, no problem. Actually, no watery eyes. Well, you know what? I'll put up with some watery eyes if the wind picks up. You know, I gladly have watery eyes. Not wearing plastic, and plus, you know, our bodies were designed to have sunlight. That's how our bodies don't produce vitamin D, and that's the only place we get it is from the sun, unless you're supplementing like I do, because we don't get enough sun up here, especially in the winter. I have to supplement, but yeah, I don't know. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yes, about the sun. You know, they're doing all this to, you know, they want to block out the sun with the chemtrails and all that. Now they want us to wear this full face shield so we never get the sun on our faces, which is where most people get the sun, unless you're in a really, really warm climate and wearing shorts and t-shirts. Well, up here we do in the summer as well. But I really honestly think that all this to try and block out the sun is because they know how important it is. The sun is extremely important and always has been used for infection control. Yeah, they used to take sick people out. They'd wheel them out to the garden for the sun because it helps. And here they are wanting us to wear full. No, I don't think so. Okay, the idea is not just a thought experiment. In Singapore, preschool students and their teachers will receive face shields when they return to school next month. Local health experts recommended teachers in Philadelphia wear shields when schools reopen, and a teachers union in Palo Alto, California, requested them as well. But it can be difficult to imagine Americans being willing to put on another form of protective equipment. President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence have shirked wearing masks in settings that would seem to call for them, and simple face coverings requirements have provoked conflicts at grocery stores and restaurants. And yes, it has. I'm not going to read more about this. I think we are all aware. But yeah, and you know what? You have to ask yourself, if Trump's not wearing a face mask, why? Why is he not wearing a face mask? Because he knows. That's why. But you can't tell these liberal bleeding hearts that he knows. So why would he wear, like, who wants to wear a mask, a soggy, hot mask where you're breathing in your own air? And ugh. I mean, I wear one when I'm around my parents because they're elderly, and you know, I don't want either of them to get it, but I don't wear one when I go out, and I'm not going to. Okay. All right. Well, let's go back now because there's more. Yes, there is. Okay. Now let's look at this. The Gateway Pundit. Mob chases woman out of ShopRite grocery store in New York for not wearing CV mask. And we have a video of this, and we're going to look at it. Video posted to Facebook on Saturday shows a mask-wearing mob cursing and screaming at a woman for not wearing a CV mask at a Staten Island ShopRite grocery store and chasing her out of the store. Now, if I can get down there, where is the... Here it is! Do you want to watch it? Well, some of you probably have already seen it, but let's take a look. There could be very foul language here, so if you're sensitive to that, I'm just warning. I have not seen this. So
Get out! Yeah, go ahead to an accident, dirty ass pig.
wow. Yeah. That's what it's coming to. And I mean, people here, you know, now not everybody's wearing a mask here. In fact, very few people are wearing a mask here, except for some of the elderly, which I totally get that. But yeah, it hasn't gotten to that point here yet. There is shaming going on. I mean, I told you about the fact that I walked down the wrong way in an aisle that had arrows, and some lady yelled at me, "You're going the wrong way!" And I'd had it. I snapped. I said, "Bite me! Bite me!" All right. Okay. Let's go back now. No, really. There's more. There's more. There's always more. There's lots more. I'm beginning to, I can't remember when I started, but, you know, well, I bet I could find out. Okay. And I found out. We are 46 minutes in, so I'm going to be wrapping this up soon, but I do have, I've got lots more, so I don't know if I can do another video or not, but we'll see. Let's look at this. Italian government wants unemployed to become social distancing snitches. An army of civic assistants will be embedded in the population. Oh, goody. I'm glad I'm not living there, although I love Italy, but no. The Italian government announced intentions Sunday to create an army. My gosh, I just about yawned in front of you, and I know what that would do. It would cause all of you to yawn. In fact, just seeing me start to yawn probably made some of you yawn. I'm just betting. Okay, hang on. I'm going to get a nice tasty cold beverage here. Well, it's not that tasty. It's Diet Coke, which I'm horribly addicted to and I need to stop. Okay. So, the Italian government announced intentions Sunday to create an army of social distancing snitches, saying it will recruit 60,000 people to monitor their friends and neighbors' activities and make sure they are adhering to social distancing policies. Oh, I'm sure those people will be fun to be around. Not. Reports indicate that the government will reach out, especially to the unemployed, for the roles, and particularly those who have applied for benefits recently. It wants them to become civic assistants who will report infractions on the use of face masks and other state-ordered rules in the wake of the CV lockdown. The informants will not be given uniforms or badges and will simply be embedded within the population, meaning anyone could be a government snitch. Sounding kind of 1984-ish, no? Welcome to the new Orwellian universe. The informants, okay, we read that. It's not unprecedented in Italy, given that Rome Mayor Virginia Rhaggy has employed a website where Italians can inform on their neighbors if they see them breaking social distancing rules. The announcement was made by the Minister for Regional Affairs and Autonomies, Francesco Boccia, and the mayor of Bari, Puglia, Antonio De Caro, who serves as the president of the National Association for Italian Municipalities. Isn't that interesting? Regional Affairs and Autonomies. And contract tracing, it's the absolute opposite of autonomy. Anyway, we are gradually entering a new normal where there is a gradual recovery of productive activities and citizens are returning to populate cities day after day, a statement reads. Yep, when Christianity is outlawed, and it will be, these are the type of people that will turn you in. I'm just saying. Just saying. and you won't know who they are. Anyway, we are gradually entering a new normal. Okay, gradual recovery. Municipalities will be able to take advantage of the contribution of civic assistance to enforce all the measures put in place to counter and contain the spread of the virus, beginning with social distancing, the statement adds. Now it's the time to recruit all those citizens who want to help the country, demonstrating a great civic sense. Yeah, right. Nothing says civic sense more than turning in your friends and neighbors. Anyway, the statement concludes, social distancing snitches reminiscent of party informants in Orwell's, I called that right, didn't I? In Orwell's 1984 have also been employed by authorities in other countries. The family had become in effect an extension of the thought police. It was a device by means of which everyone could be surrounded night and day by informers who knew him intimately. And yes, if you haven't read the book 1984 recently, you really ought to do yourself a favor. Really. And I do believe there are places where you can even have it read to you for free online. Somebody was saying that to me. So yeah, it is definitely, it's not just, it is a book, but it's just so prophetic of what's happening right now. I really, highly suggest that book. I studied it in high school like everybody, but I actually revisited it when I did my master's. It was one of the books that I chose to do an in-depth study on, and I couldn't believe, when I was in high school, I didn't get a lot of it, but looking at it now, it was like, oh my gosh, it's like reading the newspaper. Anyway, so let's get out of there and go back. Had to check to see if a cat was back there. No cat. I don't know where she is. Okay, let's look at this. Look at this. It says scientists warn virus may be disappearing too fast for vaccine studies to produce meaningful results. Wow. And this person says, there you have it, folks. And Bruno Barking replied and says, now we know why the WHO canceled the drug study so abruptly. Yeah, we're not being told the truth. Of course we're not. Well, I do think that Trump tells us the truth when he can. But, and this is what this is referring to. Breaking, WHO suspends trial of the drug as COVID-19 treatment over safety concerns. Over safety concerns. Right. This is a 40-year-old drug. I know I've said this before, but it's 40 years old. It's been effective. There's been no... If this drug was not safe, don't you think that it would have been reported and taken off the market by now? I mean, half of the world uses this. Seriously, it is a very, very popular, well-used drug. People that are on lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, malaria, people take it prophylactically if they're going to be in an area where there's malaria. A lot of the military take it because when they go overseas in areas where they have, malaria, they take it prophylactically. So, yeah, please tell me why they would be concerned about this drug when it's been well vetted. It has 40 years of use. And in fact, someone told me that it's actually longer than 40 years, that the drug has been around for a very, very long time. So anyway, we can, and let's look at this. Sleepy Joe's representatives have just put out an ad saying that I went to play golf, exercise today. They think I should stay in the White House at all times. What they didn't say is that this is the first time I've played golf in almost 3 months. that Biden was constantly vacationing, relaxing, and making shady deals with other countries, and that Barack was always playing golf, doing much of his traveling in a fume-spewing 747 to play golf in Hawaii, once even teeing off immediately after announcing the gruesome death of a young man by ISIS. Yeah, he doesn't pull any punches, and I like that about him. All right, now I want to, okay, this is the last thing I'm going to visit, and then I'm going to thank some people, and I'm going to wrap it up. I don't think I'm going to do a second video tonight. I'm tired because I've, my stepfather is not doing well, and, you know, I'm doing a lot of stuff, you know, just groceries and errands and all this for my parents, as well as my own work. So, yeah, it's a lot. So, but we're going to take a look at this. Now, as if we don't have enough to worry about, we now have aggressive rats. Now, personally, I like my rats on the timid side, you know, but that's just me. That's how I like my rats. CDC warns of aggressive rats in lockdown. Linked rodent control guidance. Lockdown linked rodent control guidance. CDC warns of aggressive rats in lockdown linked rodent control guidance. Oh, they're giving us guidance on how to control these aggressive rats. They're the worst. My gosh, what if they form gangs? We're gonna all die. Gangs of rats. Aggressive rats, not your normal rats. Aggressive ones. There they are. Be afraid, everyone. Be very, very afraid. The Centers for Disease Control has provided updated guidance on rodent control, and the latest version cautions that environmental management programs and pest control services may not receive reports of unusual or aggressive rodent behavior. Now, I'm just asking if one sees an aggressive rat, and I'm not sure how you know whether it's being aggressive. What does it whip out a gun? Does it try to stab you in the foot? I don't know. Does it yell at you and swear at you? I don't know. But if one sees one of these aggressive rats, where does one report that to? Excuse me, there's an aggressive rat out here. I'm just saying. I mean, I got a fox. I haven't even reported that. He's not aggressive. But if he was, I might report it because he could have rabies. But, you know, I'm just saying. Aggressive rats. Be afraid, everyone. Murder hornets riding on aggressive rats. It could get worse, couldn't it? Anyway, the new guidance, which has been updated to reflect pandemic closures, warns that rats may be missing out on restaurant scraps and commercial business garbage. Well, there's all sorts of services delivering. Why can't they just call up delivery? You know, there's Skip the Dishes, and there's a whole bunch of them. You know, they could order out for pizza. They don't need to get aggressive. They warn that rats may be missing out on restaurant scraps and commercial business garbage, causing them to scatter off to new places in search of food. Scatter off aggressively. They don't just scatter off. They do it aggressively. Rodents rely on food and waste generated by these establishments. Community-wide closures have led to a decrease in food available to rodents, especially in dense commercial areas, said the CDC guidance. Some jurisdictions have reported an increase in rodent activity as rodents search for new sources of food. Well, perhaps you need to release some aggressive cats. Environmental health and rodent control programs may see an increase in service requests related to rodents and reports of unusual or aggressive rodent behavior. Hello 911. There's an aggressive rat here, and he's threatening me. What do I do? Make sure to report unusual or aggressive rodent behavior. Bobby Corrigan, an urgent rodentologist. A rodentologist. Could you imagine telling people that with a straight face? What do you do for a living? I'm a rodentologist. Anyway, and consultant told NBC News last month, when rodents face food shortages, they may declare war on other rodent colonies. I told you they were going to form gangs. Did I not just say that a couple paragraphs back? Oh, we're in big trouble now. We not only have a virus that's going to kill everybody twice, but we have aggressive rodents and murder hornets. I'm sure they're not trying to scare us, though. I'm sure that it's just out of concern. Last month, when rodents face food shortages, they may declare war on other rodent colonies or start to cannibalize each other. Okay, I would count that as aggressive. You know, because I've never been partial to being eaten. You know, I mean, I like my skin where it is. I'm just saying. Yeah, they're starting to, I don't know. I wonder if the government's going to step in and arm both sides, because that's what they do in war. Not our government, just the powers that be, the Rothschilds. They're notorious for funding both sides of a war. So I'm just saying. Wonder if they're going to arm these aggressive rodents. Just saying. It's just like we've seen in history of mankind, where people try to take over lands and they come in with militaries and armies and fight to the death, literally, for who's going to conquer that land. And that's what happens with rats, said Corrigan. A new army of rats. Oh my gosh, now it's not just aggressive rats. It's not just gangs of rats and warring rodent colonies, but these are an army. There's an army of aggressive rats out there. A new army of rats come in, and whichever army has the strongest rats is going to conquer that area. Or whichever area has the most cats, there won't be any rats. But there'll be very, very fat cats. They're mammals, just like you and I. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. And so when you're really, really hungry, you're not going to act the same. Yeah, you get hangry. That's what they call it, hangry. So you don't act the same when you're hungry. You're going to act very bad usually. Okay. I don't start, forming gangs and take on rival communities when I'm hungry. Corrigan, who also mentioned that rats are designed to find food molecules like heat-seeking missiles. Hide your food molecules, everyone! Lock them up. Inside Edition recently published a video report showing rodents emboldened like never before, swarming a trash can in front of a restaurant in New York City. Mayor Bill de Blasio told the public only the week before that the rodent problem in the city would not become worse, purportedly in response to rat problems in the same location, reports the news agency. Well, you can't trust de Blasio. Come on. He probably likes the rats. Probably give them little, should buy them little biker jackets so that we know which colony they belong to. Or maybe they should be forced to wear something to say if they're aggressive or not. Okay, so as New Yorkers, unfortunately, we know too much about rats, and we are certainly not going to ever let it be a worse situation. We're going to fight back, the mayor told reporters in a press conference. Inside Edition notes in response, but our camera found they're still there and they've brought reinforcements. They brought in reinforcements, swarming all over the trash can. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. To reduce the likelihood, I guess it's a slow news day. I don't know. To reduce the likelihood of coming into contact with rodent-borne diseases, the CDC recommends taking preventative measures such as sealing up access into homes and businesses, removing debris and heavy vegetation, keeping garbage in tightly covered bins, and removing pet and bird food from their yards. Well, there you have it. I just wanted you to be aware of these warring rodents, aggressive. Be cautious, okay? You need to carry rodent away. I don't know if they make such a thing, but Acme rodent away. It'll help, maybe. Okay, so now I'm going to thank people. No, I am. All right, we're going to thank the following people. Coffee donors, Journey, which I love that name, Journey and Ron, and they are the couple that sent me all the cannabis cream. It doesn't have THC in it, but it does help. I put it on areas where I have pain, and it really does help. So you can probably, I think that they do have a website, Rafa Rub, so you could probably just Google that. But yeah, their product is good. They sent me like a lot, and then they sent me a donation via coffee as well. So very, very kind. And I am enjoying their product. It is a quality product, I would absolutely say. So yeah, if you have pain, and I mean, I'm not advertising for them, but they did send me this stuff to try out of the goodness of their hearts, and it is a good product. So I don't mind doing that for, I mean, they're regular listeners, so why shouldn't we do that and pass around business to those of us that are patriots? I mean, I think it's a good idea. Anyway, thank you, Journey and Ron, and Nicole P. Thank you, Nicole. Kathy in Australia. Thank you, Kathy in Australia. Susan Fraser, Space Chick 7, and Big Bear. I don't know who Big Bear is, but it's an interesting moniker there. Now, we had a couple new Patreon subscribers, Mike V and Chris. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. And Snail Mail. Oh, Snail Mail is so much fun. Matt C from California, and he sent a book, and it's a book on, well, I don't have it right in front of me, but it's on how to be pain-free. So I'm definitely going to be reading it. It's like little exercises in there and stuff. So yeah, thank you very much. That's a very, very thoughtful thing to send me. And Robert T from Wisconsin sent I don't know. I didn't put here what he sent. So I will have to check on that. Actually, I'm so sorry, Robert T. I did get it. I just, and I know I've read it, but my memory, so I'm going to have to check. Anyway, Morgana Green from Brooklyn, New York, sent a card and note. And Keck R. Angel is what he wants to be called on air, doesn't want his real name given, but he sent a note and donation. Thank you so much. And James L. from New York sent a note and donation. And Jan J. from Kelowna, BC, which is a beautiful area, absolutely breathtaking. If you ever come to Canada, visit British Columbia and take a look. Kelowna area. Oh, it's beautiful. Well, that whole area is beautiful because you've got the mountains and the ocean. I mean, what could be better? So, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you guys, actually. Now, let me know if the sound has been fixed, because I need to know that. I don't want you listening to crap and all the static and everything. I felt really bad when I read all the comments, because I thought, oh my gosh, there's something definitely wrong. So, yeah, and there was. So, hoping it's fixed. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and you will see me in the next video. Now, not going to do another video tonight because it's late, but I'll be back. I'm always back. All right, guys. Well, you have a great night. Stay safe and stay blessed. Keep seeking truth. Good night, guys.